welcome back to another edition of Dogs on the Couch, where we represent all of your favorite dads, uncles, brothers, cousins that love to give their opinion on sports. Here, you don't have to be somebody to have that opinion. Welcome back. Welcome back. Got a special guest today. Long time brother, long time friend. My boy Chuck is in the building.
What up? What
Been
up?
trying to get my hands up for a minute. Finally made it. We glad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey man, so we're gonna go on here. We're gonna kick this thing off, man. We're gonna start with the hometown. We got the Browns versus the Raiders this Sunday. All right. We me and Chuck, as well as a few others, we done had a few takes as far as the Browns' struggles are concerned. All right. We've had a few debates about Deshaun Watson, his health, and how that's going. Me personally, um, I'm in the belief of Stefanski is our problem. Um, Others may not necessarily be on bandwagon, but throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, we've got a nice sample size to go off of. So I'll start by saying this. First, Chuck, as far as the game goes, who do you have winning? Browns versus Raiders. Who you got?
I'm gonna roll with the Browns on this one, man. Cause it's week 4, and I feel like we got to get our mojo. And what better team to do it than the Las Vegas Raiders?
Definitely dig that. Definitely. Now would you like to give a score prediction?
24-10.
24-10 Browns?
24-10 is Browns.
Okay.
And they also got a lot of. They also got Crosby ain't playing. Adams not playing. So they also got a lot of key people out.
Right. And it was somebody else Abe said earlier, I forget, that was out.
Even though
So
we got about 5 people out this week also.
yeah, we do. And still trying to figure out if David Njoku, which in my opinion is one of the more important pieces, still trying to figure out if he's gonna be able to go or not.
Right.
I'm glad we mentioned that. Okay. Because me on my end, unfortunately, I do not have the Browns winning this game. As much as I would like for them to be able to pull it out, I do not have them winning this game. And it's because of what I say all the time. As long as that man, Kevin Stefanski, is coaching and calling the plays, we will forever be behind the 8 ball. Now, what I will say is I believe you had 24-10 Browns way, right?
Correct.
What I will say is I do think it might be a little bit closer. I'm thinking in terms of either one touchdown or one field goal. So maybe 24-17, something along those
Even
lines.
without Crosby and
Uh,
Adams?
what was that?
Even without Crosby and Adams? You think it's gonna be close?
Yeah, man. The only reason because Max Crosby is a huge piece to what Las Vegas does on defense.
Right.
And if you ask me, he one of them ones.
Yeah.
Like how T.J. Watt is one of them ones. Myles Garrett is one of them ones. The old Von Miller, Aaron Donald before he retired. Like he one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that we got Kevin Stefanski calling the plays, man. And if I'm not mistaken, uh, they did some type of interview, Chuck, where they was asking Deshaun about, like the running and if he should be running more, if he feels like that's, something that should be added, into the offense. And his response was kind of intriguing to me because he said, well, that's not what I do. That's not what they brought me here to do. I'm not a running back. I'm a quarterback. I'm supposed to be, throwing the ball, et cetera, et cetera. So, for me, the way he answered it, he was kind of like, in a way, throwing Stefanski out there, saying like, "Well, no, what? I know I could probably help by running, but what they told me to do is they told me to sit in the pocket, make these reads, and make these timing throws."
Mm-hmm.
That I just don't believe he's ever been like good at that. I mean, can he do it? Yes, but is that his strong suit? I've never believed that. I believe he's just simply a playmaker. And when you add his legs into it, like it's that much more dynamic. But if you want him to be this pocket passer, standing back, timing quarterback, that usually don't work with people who scramble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I don't like. I think the disconnect between Stefanski and the offense that he runs and the quarterback that we have. A lot of Stefanski's success has come with mid quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
mid tier quarterbacks, where it's just like they don't have any real like special gifts, but they can, stand in the pocket and make a timing throw. Like the play gets the guy open, and as long as you deliver the ball on time and it's accurate, boom, there you go. You got a good play. You got a completed pass, and you move in the chains.
Mm-hmm.
That's great for Case Keenum, but when you got a guy like Deshaun, I always feel like you got to let the greats be great in that aspect. Now, early in the season, or I should say, uh, game before last, I believe y'all had some concerns about Deshaun and his health. In your opinion, how has he looked the past 2 weeks? Or I'll say mainly against the Giants. That was the most recent game. So, in your opinion, how did he look as far as health wise is concerned?
Oh, he looked at. Hey, he took 8 sacks that game, and he still was getting up, playing, throwing the ball, ready to play. He never went to the blue tent, so I respect him for that. But as far as his play, I think he's getting better and better by the week. From week one, two to three, and then week four coming up, I feel like he'll be better than he was in the Giants game. So yeah, I feel like he's getting better week by week. Even though he took 8 sacks, he still played a good game to me. I gave him B minus C plus for that game.
I'm with you on that. I'm there with that. I'm there with that. I would lean more towards the B minus, but in a different world they tell you B minus and C plus is the same thing. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Only
Um,
because he didn't get rid of that ball like he should have on a couple of them sacks. To me, he should have threw that ball away instead of taking the sack.
Now that I do agree with. That's one of the things where it's like you live and die with whatever that quarterback is great at. So, for example, Josh Allen is another one. He's so spectacular, but you have to live and die with the times that he throws interceptions
Correct.
because of the fact that he's so dynamic like that. You live and die with it. Brett Favre was another one. You know what I'm saying? You got to live and die with the fact that he's going to throw some interceptions sometimes because he's trying to make a play. I
Hmm.
do agree with that. There are times where Deshaun is being Deshaun and he's trying to make a play. And instead of trying to make a play, you just do the 1, 2, 3 cookie quarterback thing, throw the ball away, live to play the next down. I do agree with that. You mentioned the sacks. That is concerning for me as well. Because it's very little talked about. Um, but we let go of, in my opinion, two key coaches for our staff. One of them being Bill Callahan, who was our offensive line coach
Hmm.
for the previous, I think, 3 or 4 years, something like that. Basically, when we was arguably had the best offensive line in the league. It was us and one other team that they was arguing had the best offensive line in the league.
Right.
One of the other coaches is Stump Mitchell, who was our running backs coach. And in both of those areas so far this year, in my opinion, they've been extremely subpar,
Mm-hmm.
especially comparing to what we've had in the past. And, you know, Rio has said this, and we just talked about it earlier today. Coaching definitely matters. Coaching matters.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, with the Jerome Ford, who, I mean, he's okay, like he's all right. I just don't think he runs hard enough. And then when you couple that with an offensive line that's kind of giving up, man, I mean, giving up sack after sack, you could say that it's the offensive scheme or the blocking scheme, if you will. But at some point, you have to marry the two, in my opinion. You cannot force a quarterback who's a scrambler to stay in the pocket, and in the same breath, guys who are used to pass blocking in a scheme, you can't expect them to all of a sudden know how to pass block for a guy who's a scrambler. Again, in my opinion, those are coaching errors
Yeah.
for me. We've rebuilt or retooled the offense the last 3 years, supposedly to cater to Deshaun's strong suits. It's just for me, when we get out there on Sundays, sometimes it doesn't seem like we're running plays that fit Deshaun's skill set. And that's just my opinion in what I see. Um, I've been adamant for calling for his head. Unfortunately, I want Stefanski gone. I actually wanted him gone with Baker Mayfield. And shout out to Baker Mayfield because he's actually doing okay over there in Tampa Bay, which, again, in my opinion, could kind of go against like Stefanski
Well, he got a better
because
coach,
yeah, in my mind,
and he
I
got a
believe he
championship
got
coach. He got a ring, so
facts. Yeah, facts. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with that. I'm with you on that one, man. Yeah, I do agree with that. Because if he could figure it out over there, and I mean, at least look consistent. Because one of the problems that he had here was the inconsistency. Some
Mhm.
games he looked like a top notch quarterback. Other games he looks like the most trash, garbage, bottom of the barrel player that you that you could find, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
fact that he's consistent over there, again, for me, it raises red flags with the coaching aspect of it. Um,
Facts.
so uh, let me see. I'll give my what I let me see. I'll give a score prediction. I'll say 21-17 Raiders.
He got it close.
I believe it comes down to the wire. We may end up having the ball late in the game, driving down, and I think it comes down to turnover on downs. Stefanski's good for misjudging fourth downs, misjudging what plays to run on fourth downs.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, calling play action passes when you should just be running it. I don't know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that'll be my score prediction. Now, the transition. Have you been keeping up with the WNBA playoffs recently?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So just recently we had the Connecticut Sun end up sweeping. I mean, 2 games to none. It's only a 3 game
Right.
series.
Indiana.
Yeah, ended up sweeping the Indiana Fever.
Hmm.
Um, I wanted to get your opinion on number one, the league's trajectory this year as far as the WNBA is concerned, and then secondly, um, what do you think will take place in the WNBA now that the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark have been eliminated? So number one, the trajectory of the WNBA. What do you feel like it's been this year? And then number two, now that Caitlin Clark and the Fever have been eliminated, where do you feel like the WNBA will be headed now? And then I give my
So
opinion.
the first question, it's kind of hard one, but then again, it's kind of easy. I feel like it's going right like they planned it to go with the new ladies that came out, as far as Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and so forth, so forth. About 5 ladies that came out that's top
Yeah, yep.
10
Cameron
players.
Brink,
Cameron Brinks,
Rakita Jackson.
Rakita Jackson, all of them
Mm-hmm.
making the game a lot better, a lot easier for the other players. So I feel like it's moving in the right direction. I don't feel like they go be too far behind the NBA in a minute, as far as the commercials, the crowds, the TV part of it, as far as getting on ESPN more, on regular channels more. You see they on NBC now a lot, ESPN a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, they ain't commercial flighting no more. They got personal flights now. So I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
heading in the right direction, man. Especially with the new group of females that came out this year to change the game for them.
Dig that.
They even got better gyms now. 'Cause remember, they was in the college gyms and the high school gyms, not in the NBA gyms.
Facts.
So
Yep.
I feel like it's
Facts.
heading in the right direction. Actually, I watched every single game, playoff game this year so far as the women, and it was some
Okay.
great games.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
And,
has
and,
been exciting basketball.
and as far as Caitlin and them been out, they played pretty good, but they haven't been to the playoffs since 2016. As far as that Indiana team, and next year they'll be better. They go get another number 1, 2 pick, 1, 2, or 3 somewhere around in there. And I feel like they're gonna be a lot better, but that Las Vegas team gonna be hard to beat in that Minnesota team. Them two hell of a team with some nice players.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the
and
Minnesota Lynx. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I feel like that 3-time MVP, as far as Asia Wilson, she gonna be hard to beat no matter what. So even if Caitlin would have came across her, if they would have got past this round and came across and had to play them, I think that would have been a sweep in the second round in the semis.
Yeah. Now
If
that I can,
yeah,
now that I can, yeah, that I can't argue with. Yeah, that I can't argue with, y'all.
yeah,
There's one thing I can say. Um, no matter how people feel, whether you love Caitlin Clark or you hate her, one thing that I can definitely say is if there's, whatever handful of players or whatever players you may feel or don't feel is better than Caitlin Clark, I think Asia Wilson is unanimously one of them.
oh yeah, for sure, I agree.
Yeah, that girl is unanimously the best player in the WNBA, hands down.
Yeah,
Like, you ask me, she probably low key could, the same way Q was trying to put Caitlin in the big three. You ask me, I think Asia should be able to go over there and do something. I ain't gonna
yeah,
say she gonna go over there and dominate, but she'll sure be able to go over there and get some buckets though.
oh yeah, for sure.
That's a fact. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, as far as what I was looking at this year, man, I feel like it's been overall um, one of the better seasons. In my opinion, it's probably one of the most memorable seasons, if you will. Um, since the inception, and I believe it was '97. Because I actually watched that opening game between the Sparks and Liberty.
oh yeah.
Because the big hype was Lisa Leslie versus Rebecca Lobo. And
Hmm.
then, unfortunately for Rebecca Lobo, her career was cut short due to injury. You know what I'm saying? Which
Hmm.
kind of sucked because that might have helped push the WNBA as far as when we talk about that
Right back.
rivalry.
Hmm.
Because one of the reasons that I believe a lot of people can agree on why the WNBA drew a lot of eyes this season is the quote unquote Magic and Bird dynamic with Caitlin and Angel Reese.
Right.
You got the Magic and Bird dynamic where they both have their skill sets and what they good at, and you kind of got the race factor in with it, so that way everybody got somebody to cheer for, so to
Right.
speak.
Yeah,
You
everybody got
know
an
what I'm
interest.
saying? Right. um, so overall, I feel like it was a great year. However, with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever being eliminated, I do believe the viewership is going to take a major downward spike. Um, with them, with the if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the second game, the elimination game.
Yeah.
That game aired. No, 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 no. I think I stand corrected. It was the first game. That game aired during, like NFL,
Oh yeah, it
like
was
during
Sunday. Yeah,
NFL
that was the first game because
games.
it came on
Right,
Sunday. Right,
right,
correct.
right,
Yeah.
right. And the viewership was crazy, especially when we talking competing with the NFL, because people run away from competing with the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
NFL in America rules all. That's the number one. Like that's America's sport, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because football everywhere else is soccer. This is the only place where football is that oblong shape thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so unfortunately, I do think with them being out, that the viewership is going to take a downward spike. Um, Not only that, but it seems to me the major thing that they wanted, which was the attention and the eyeballs, the whole nine, hey, we should get paid more, et cetera, et cetera. Seems to me like in certain areas they're not necessarily ready for, that leap. Because it seemed to me the thing that they don't understand is, what comes with all of these eyeballs is responsibility. So a lot of the rumblings from this past, elimination game had a lot to do with social media comments, stuff that's said on Twitter. Again, if we breaking this down and equating it to NBA players, which they say they want to be paid like the NBA players are paid.
Right.
NBA players deal with criticisms, threats, death threats. I mean, they deal with it all, and they all handle it like professionals,
Mm-hmm.
because they understand that the negative also comes with the positive.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pick and choose what you're gonna take from it. Is my
Right.
main thing. You know what I mean? All right, Rio. You can't pick and choose what you're gonna take from it. So in my opinion, if the game is to grow even more, one of the things I think they're gonna have to understand is they have to ignore the noise.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how to ignore the noise.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James is one of the most notable athletes in the world. LeBron James has dealt with criticism and uh, any other type of ism that you could think of since day one, but he's handled it like a professional. He even does things where he do the 0 dark 30, where he just completely stays off of social media, so that
Right.
that way he's not seeing any of these tweets or anything that people are saying, so we can make him emotional or whatever, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, that's just one of the things they're gonna have to learn to adopt, in order to be able to continue to grow the game. Um, that's my only thing with that one, man. If you want the game to grow and to be accepted, um, and keep having those eyeballs, you got to learn how to tune out the noise and keep focusing on doing your job. Because if you want people to notice you, instead of screaming out loud, "Hey, don't look at her, look at me,"
Mm-hmm.
don't say anything when you play her. Make sure you drop 30 on her. And then they're
Right.
gonna be like, wait a minute, who's the girl who just dropped 30 on? I know we was watching for Kayla Clark, but who's the girl who just dropped 30? Like, who was that? Like, you was
Mm-hmm.
hooping. Um, so yeah, man, hopefully that works. I think they'll get it together though by the end of it all. I believe they'll be able to get it together, man. One last one, because we had Abe talking about this earlier. Um, the Bengals, because that's our
Okay.
other Ohio squad. Okay, who man, who did Abe say they had this week?
Carolina Panthers.
They got the Panthers. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Panthers. Okay, first, do you have a final score prediction?
Um, Probably 28-14 Bengals.
You got the Bengals winning that one.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, Chuck? We're doing pretty good today, man. Because I do too. Now, hey, man, even though that's his squad, he didn't have. He didn't, hey, man, have him pulling it out, man. You know what I'm saying? Say Andy Dalton might mess
I
around and
mean,
get loose on it.
but he is what he's saying is true as far as the defense and the corners and stuff. But Burrow and putting up so much points, I don't think Carolina can keep up with the scoring in them. But we'll see if a Dalton can pull that off like he did
Facts.
the other game he played last week. He put up four passing touchdowns.
And was looking like, man, he was looking like he did first couple years when he was in Cincinnati, and they was calling him the
Right,
Red Rocket or the
right.
Red Rifle. You know what I'm saying?
Now, so if he can pull that off, then it's gonna be a rough day for the Bengals. But I don't think he can
Yeah,
do it twice. We gonna see.
that's my thing.
Yeah.
I believe. Let me see. I'll do. I'm gonna say 31. I'm gonna say 31-17. That's what I'll say. I'll say 31-17
Who way?
Bengals.
Bengals. Okay.
Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 31-17 Bengals.
Okay.
Now, um, I'm with you because the defense is abysmal. I mean, they got some stuff to work on.
Yeah.
But like I was telling Abe, the one thing I'm gonna rely on is the fact that they always start slow, and then immediately after that, you do have Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And for all intensive purposes, this past week, even though they lost, the connection between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase looked the best that it's looked so far this year, with the contract issues and all of that stuff going on. I do believe that they've kind of found something between the two of them where they can still hook up, even though the contract issues are going on. Especially
Mm-hmm.
for Jamar Chase, because you gotta look at it like this: if you don't perform well, then that's just another reason for him not to pay you.
You're right. Correct.
You know what I mean? In my opinion. So yeah, we'll see how it all ends up turning out. We'll make sure to keep posted. We got one day in between. So we'll revisit. We may wait until next Friday, but we may end up finding a way to revisit. You know what I mean, before then, because it's multiple. We got multiple ways to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we'll lock them predictions in, man, and then we'll see what happens this upcoming Sunday. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes, man. All right. Well, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Dogs on the Couch, where again everybody is allowed to have an opinion. It doesn't matter if you played the game or not. You were watching, so you're allowed to have an opinion too. You
Right.
did. One time for the one time. Dogs on the Couch, baby. We signing off.